at the end of the day, you will never grow out of comfort.
That's right.
And I did not learn the things that I've learned out of comfort. It was hard. And a lot of people don't know my story. Where it really was born was I failed as a leader. And I had done well, up to, here I am. I'm this young kid. I joined the SEAL teams, smart enough, and I guess talented enough in the SEAL teams to excel and stand out a little bit where I could, and got selected for a leader. But oftentimes what happens with a lot of us who excel when we're young, especially young men, it doesn't happen as much in young women, but I see it often in young men. I started to get a little ego.
That's right.
Started to think I was the man.
The danger of success.
Yeah. And really started to think, I was better than other people, and success built on top of success can feed this. And that's what happened to me. And I came back as a young, brand new SEAL officer thinking, man, I was God's gift to leadership. And oftentimes when you achieve a level of success, then we start to sit back on our laurels like, hey man, I'm here, I've achieved it, do as I say, not as I do, because I'm already here. And I started making mistakes as a young leader. The world had changed. 9/11 had happened between the time that I got commissioned, between the time that I started school and became an officer. Our tactics changed because we had gone to war, both in Iraq and Afghanistan. So a lot of the older tactics I had learned growing up weren't the same as what our guys were running with now. And all of those things were creating issues for me as a leader. And instead of adapting and humbling myself and being like, hey man, to the young guys around me who now had more experience than me, which my ego wouldn't acknowledge that. I was like, hey man, I've been in longer than you. I'm a leader. Like, I'm not going to ask you how to do things, which is such a bullshit idea. There are people out there who believe, and I did, I guess, wrongly, that leaders have to know everything. That is unequivocally not true. Leaders aren't going to know everything. You're not going to be great at everything. That's why you surround yourself with great people. But I was insecure and was unwilling to say to these young guys, hey man, I don't know how to do that. Could you help me? So then I went down the road that so many of us go down when we're struggling and we know we're fucking up. I turned to alcohol.
Yeah.
And and I became, we would go out at night and I would, pour myself into a bottle and became known as a drunk. So we deployed to Afghanistan in 2005. And in September, I made a bad call on a mission. Yeah. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Because when I had gone down into a valley to try and support our guys below, I took my machine gunner, and dude, it is a miracle we did not. The valley was riddled with Taliban. Our guys had gotten into a big gunfight. We'd already called in some, air missions. And I tried to go down and support troops that were on the ground, some of our other teammates and some Afghan guys who were down below. And it was just a bad call. I won't get into all the details. All of that's written in my book, The Trident. But it was a bad call. And it prevented the air support from coming in for a period of time. And knock on wood, no one was killed or injured because of that decision. But my professional reputation was killed. I got it. By the time I got out to the other side of the valley, we had climbed back out. Man, guys wanted my head on a block. And they sent me back to headquarters in Bagram. We were operating down in southern Afghanistan. And I basically went and stood in front of my commanding officer and was told, hey man, like, we're questioning everything about you. We're questioning your leadership. We're questioning your tactical decision-making. We're questioning we're questioning you being a SEAL. And there were guys who were bringing that up. Hey, we should kick him out. We should take his trident, the SEAL emblem, and kick him out. And I remember the CO said, hey, go back. The commanding officer said, go back to your room. I'll let you know my decision in the morning. And I went back to my room, and one, I couldn't understand how I had gotten to this point, and I was blaming everybody else. I was a victim. Hey man, I did things right. Look at me. I went down in the valley to help people and when that was just a lie. We have a tendency to lie to ourselves in the victim mindset because we want to blame everybody around us. And I had not opened the door yet to, how did you get here? Well, bro, it was you. But I wasn't there yet. And I convinced myself, as many of us do when we hit rock bottom, that one, it's everybody else's fault. And two, there's no way it can be fixed. It's too late. It's too late to be fixed. You know, all of this is too late. And I, you know, have weapons everywhere there. I mean, all my gear was next to me, and I took my pistol out and I put it in my mouth, and I was going to blow my head off. And, you know, all the lies that we tell ourselves, the world will be better off without me. It's too late. You can't fix this problem. It's the end. All these different things. And man, I'm so thankful that right as I got ready to pull the trigger, I think the big man above kind of punched me in the back of the head, and I looked up, and there was a picture of my wife and kids on the table. And my son would have been 6. My middle daughter would have been 3, and my youngest was 1. And he was like, "What are you doing? What message do you send them doing this?" And that's the other lie we tell ourselves as ego, like we have to do it on our own. Like, I got to figure out this problem on my own. And especially in the military and special operations, fire, law enforcement community, I talk about this frequently. I don't get it because I've seen it happen so many times now. We work in a career where we depend on somebody else. Right. Police officers have partners. Firefighters, you will never go into a building by yourself. SEALs and special operations, we don't do one-room clearances. Right. Yet when we're struggling mentally, we try and fix it on our own, which often cycles down. So I went and found the chaplain and said, "Hey, I'm I'm hurting. I'm struggling." I said, "Tomorrow they're going to take my trident. My world is over. It's the end." And man, he changed my mindset. He said, "Hey, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow." He said, "But you know, no matter what in this life, we have the end moments, and out of every the end moment, there becomes a new beginning." And he said, "You shape that new beginning." He said, "They may take your trident tomorrow, or they may not." He said, "No matter what, it's a new beginning." He said, "No matter what, you have got to figure out what that path is, and it's up to you to how you're going to do that." And he was right. And the next day, they didn't take my trident. And I'd love to say that immediately it kind of flipped this switch, but it actually took several months. They ended up sending me to U.S. Army Ranger School as part of my punishment. And it was there at Ranger School that I finally started to grow up and peel that onion back and go, "Hey, bro, guess what? Everything that happened to you, it was you. It was all your decision making. It was being selfish. It wasn't setting the example. It wasn't creating structure and discipline in your life. It wasn't being positive. It was self-medicating and hiding from your problems instead of addressing them." And it was at Ranger School that I finally grew up, and that became the base of everything that I teach on now. Everything grew out of that, to be a better leader, to be a better warrior. And later, those same principles now apply. But that's the hardest journey I've ever walked. And because there are a lot of people that are like, "Oh man, when you got wounded, you know, holy smokes, you know, shot in the face and 40 surgeries." And it wasn't, I'll be honest. That journey from that chair with a gun in my mouth to 2.5 years later, building back my credibility and the respect of my teammates. Because to this day, there's still, I'm sure, some SEALs out there that they don't know me. They only know the guy that, Rambo Red was my nickname. Yep. Rambo Red went down in the valley, you know, like an asshole, risked his guys' lives. And they're like, you know, fuck that guy. And that's fine. In this life, you're always going to have haters, people that don't know you. They don't really know your backstory, and they never took the time to learn it. But the guys who I got to be around and who finally saw, this guy's changed. And I hear it a lot now. I run into guys that I haven't seen in years, and they're like, "You're not the same guy I knew when you were younger." And I'm like, "I am not, man." But that's why we have to embrace this discomfort. That's why you got to get out of this victim mindset, because you'll never grow if all you ever do is sit there and you're a victim and blame everybody else.
And that opportunity just comes crashing in with that crisis. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's John, Bam Bam the dog. First, on behalf of both of us and everybody from the Real Ones team, I just want to sincerely thank you guys for tuning in. The folks that I bring on the show, they're family to me, and being able to tell their stories and bringing you into their world is something I'm just super proud of, and again, grateful that you guys tune in. We've decided we want to take things just a step further. It's a Patreon community, and basically what that means is if you become part of this community, look, I already bored Bam Bam. If you want to become a part of this community, you're going to be able to hear episodes early and all that, ad-free and all that good stuff. But there's all this behind-the-scenes footage, all this stuff that we've shot that really brings you into the folks that we've had on the show, really brings you into their world. Live chats with me and the folks that I bring on the show to talk about their world, talk about the issues that they're dealing with, about their triumphs and their tragedies. Just go to Patreon/RealOnes on this website that you see right there, right on the screen, that's right in front of you. This whole idea was something about building bridges and bringing people together and bringing folks that often don't get the mic and giving the mic to them. So the fact that you guys tune in means the world. Anyways, again, thank you. Be good to each other out there. Rock and roll. I'm gonna get a workout in a little bit with my man Eric Linden, stunt coordinator from The Punisher. He's coming all the way up because we're about to get after it. And when that's done, he asked me in the car, are you gonna have my shake ready? And I know what that means. Am I gonna have my Sun Warrior shake? They've got the active protein, but they also have this collagen protein, which is amazing. They also have the Warrior blend, which is a little bit lighter if you're trying to cut. And I believe in it. I believe in that Sun Warrior stuff. Go to www.sunwarrior.com/real ones.